Hi everyone, in this episode we're dealing with barrel making and French oak in particular. In the previous episode we looked at American oak. Today we're focusing on French oak, which has a very different wood structure and handling methods to American oak, and we'll discuss the differences in what to expect in terms of the flavors imparted into spirit. Check it out. So French oak, we associate it quite readily with the wine industry, cognac, sherry, and indeed whiskey. Compared with American oak, it's a little more subtle. It doesn't impart its flavors as boldly or as readily. Whereas American oak would be into confectionery spices, vanillins, caramels. French oak, you're probably looking more at softer spices, some tannins. The vanillins are a little bit more muted, and it takes a bit more time to express itself. It's more of a cedary spice than, say, a confectionery spice. So once again, we're going to borrow from the amazing video work done by Waterford Distillery. We're going to go straight into the French forests with Ned from Waterford and understand the process of producing barrels made from French oak, which interestingly is quite different to the method used on American oak. Check it out.
We are in the middle of a lush forest, which is one of the most famous forests in terms of quality of oak. And the plot in front of us has trees that are, the average age is 220 years old. It's like a very long forest, 3.5 kilometers wide and 10 kilometers long. In lush forest, you have on average 200 plots.
Ils ont arrivé à un moment, au début, ils gèrent la parcelle en entier, et arrivé sur des qualités supérieures, ils commencent à subdiviser la parcelle. Là, la parcelle elle est divisée en 7 parties.
Among these 200 plots of the forest, the plots are subdivided by sections in which French National Office of Forest tries to make the average age of the trees even. 5 years time, this plot, this section where we are here, will have no old trees at all.
Will be gone.
And they will leave the plot for a new generation. It's been this way for a long time.
Yes,
In
for
fact-
over 220 years.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky the government at the time was making this kind of centuries investment.
And why would they sow the trees though?
The trees.
Yeah, why did they sow the oak?
L'origine des plantations et de...
Les plantations, c'est pour fabriquer les mâts des bateaux. C'est pour les bateaux, c'est pour la marine.
It was for the French Navy.
Yeah.
They decided to have this kind of trunk to make the big post of,
Yes,
the boat. How do you call it?
The mast, is it?
Mast?
Yeah. Quite English. We have oak now to make casks to drink.
Exactly. It's much more
whiskey.
peaceful way to use the oak, right?
We don't worry about the war. We just worry about the drinking part of it.
So beautiful French oak forest there with Ned, over 200 years old, the product of a very active navy 200 years ago, much to the benefit of the spirits industry these days. We're going to cut to the mill to see how they process those incredible, very old oak stems into staves for barrel making.
French oak is very different than American oak. American oak, you can cut it,
Yes.
you saw it. As French oak, you need to split it.
We have ray medullars,
Oh, the lines.
the lines,
Yeah, yeah.
starting from the center, going to the external part.
Because you've got a full porosity out of French oak. Porosity, that means that if you put some water here, it will follow the veins. It will come out.
In French oak, we have to place the barrel stave along these ray medullars. If we cut like this way, and we have array medullas going from the inside of the barrel to the outside.
Yes.
Liquid can go near the ray medullas, follow it and go outside.
So there's a natural path.
Yes. And for this reason we have to place all the barrel staves on the ray here of the element. And because of this we reach very poor yields. This one is not nice.
You don't know when you cut into it.
Yes, because the problem you have on the bottom part is problem of attack of mushroom and then insect inside, which can enter.
Okay.
We need to remove it.
These trees are maybe 150 or 200 years old, and you're kind of wondering if you're only getting a few casks from it, but the trees don't go to waste. The forests are properly managed.
And from one log, from 20 to 25% of yield to the barrel staves, and then in 1 cubic meter of barrel staves you can produce 10 to 11 barrels.
Okay, so we understand that French oak is quite troublesome compared with American oak in terms of its handling and its ability to retain water in its stave form. The staves have to be cut out radially, which means that you get about a quarter of the stem usable for staves as compared with roughly a half out of American oak. But we're going to cut to the cooperage to watch these expert coopers in action putting French oak barrels together.
And we start to develop some pre-aromatic elements in the wood and aromatic elements that will go to the spirit. What we have at Radu is oxcan, so we can select the wood by the level of tannins which will be in the stave by stave.
So you have here for each piece of wood the spectrum in near infrared. At the final we mark on the piece of wood each level of tannins.
By knowing the tannic level, we can build exactly the barrel you need.
Each stave in the barrel making process can be analyzed at that particular cooperage for its anticipated tannin content. Really useful if you're trying to sort of spread out the tannins and maintain consistency in terms of what that wood's going to impart into the spirit. So quite amazing technology there. Alright, so we've got spirit that's been aged in French oak. What a better way to explore what that oak might be imparting to the spirit than a cognac. This is from the Maison de Whiskey curated through the Grapevine series of cognacs. Let's see if we can pick up any French oak notes in this dram. Okay, up front I get the cognac fruitiness, kind of dried fruits. Yeah, there it is, just coming second sniff. I'm getting some sort of old furniture, kind of subtle spiciness, very kind of classy wood profile in the background. A little bit of cedary spices. A little bit of tannin just cutting through those fruits. But there it is. This particular bottling I chose because I think out of the Through the Grapevine series, it had the sort of relatively high sort of wood profile on the palate. So cognacs typically aged in what they call limousine oak. It's just a type of French oak, specific limousine forests that are coveted especially for cognac. But yeah, compared with American oak, you know, much more subtle, sort of cedary, spicy, more tannin, more kind of old furniture, quintessential oak smells, definitely less desserty. Well, I hope that deepened your knowledge on the use of wood in maturing spirits, both with American oak and French oak. We will be exploring flavors and colors extracted from wood, extracted from distillate, extracted from fermentation, right throughout our journey on YouTube. But I hope this lays a great foundation for that understanding. Till the next time, keep your spirits up.